One.
Hello, fellow Trekkies. We're going where no one's gone before. We're heading on into my first watch of a Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Yes, sir.
We're episode 5. We're diving into the next batch of 3 episodes.
Yeah, we're covering the mid, or we're definitely in mid-season territory here for sure. By the time we get done, and I just wanted to point this out. I was not aware of this, but and I don't know why I didn't pay attention to this anyway. But while we're covering the Star Trek on the splash page here or whatever for our show, I didn't know that they won 18 primetime Emmys. Like, I forgot about that. That's pretty cool. Anyway, that's just cool. Like, I just ADD.
Yeah, before we get ahead of ourselves, my name's Thomas, and with me is Mike Shaw, and this is my first view of Next Generation. And Mike Shaw is an old veteran with the series. He knows the ins and outs, the sideways, backways of the whole series. So he's my guide. And our channel's the First to Last, the Nerdum. We cover all things nerd. And I guess Star Trek falls under that umbrella.
I think you could kind of sort of say that it's sci-fi, maybe just a little bit, maybe just a little bit.
Yeah, I think mostly Chad's watch it. So but maybe a few nerds watch it as well.
Nerd Chads. We might as well
Right.
mix them all up.
So bro, what's the next episode?
Bruh, Datalore, bruh. Like, it has to do with Data's brother, bruh. Oh man, yeah. So this
got
one
my
was
red cup going. So
the red solo cup.
um
Yeah, this one was Datalore, and I guess to kind of set a little background, this is the very first introduction of lore of another Noonien Soong android that was made by, I believe he was made before Data, but there was some issues with the alpha, and he kind of went a little crazy a little bit, and anyway, it's kind of like Data's evil twin, so to speak. Like, that's the soap opera way to kind of put it. Like, this is the cheap twin, so to speak. But this is like where Data starts to get a little bit more depth as a character, I think. What were your thoughts on this first brush through with this one?
Yeah, I thought it was one of the more standout episodes. I think this is one of the ones, maybe the one, where I was like, oh wow, yeah, there's something going on here. And the director's Rob Bowman. We've pointed him out before. He's a director. He did a bunch of X-Files episodes, and he did I think he directed one or all of the X-Men movie or X-Files movies. Not X-Men, but X-Files. But yeah, so he's a decent director. And he's directed quite a few of the from what I looking over his filmography, it looks like he's directed quite a few of the Next Generation episodes. But and that's the producer part of it, I guess.
Yeah, this was I wasn't we were looking at the producer, but this is like the director's start here. If your co-host can pay attention here and listen to what he's saying. Like, I get when you look at websites all day, like, you kind of think certain things blend in, so that I'll just go with that. But yeah, holy crap, he's got a large body of work. Yeah, he is not
mostly on television. Yeah, it looks like he did 13 episodes of Next Generation. But yeah, this episode was directed quite well, I have to say. And yeah, you get to know a little bit more about Data. And yeah, I guess at the time he was sort of a fan favorite, I would assume.
Yeah, he very early on became a favorite. Him, Geordi, Worf, Natasha Yard never really took off as like a fan favorite. I think even Wesley Crusher by this point had a decent following. And obviously Picard and Riker. Riker, I don't think got caught on until his beard. If I'm being honest, I don't think he find his. I just don't think Jonathan Frakes found his stride until
he didn't find his groove until
right.
he found his beard.
I could make an argument for that. I mean, not that he like was tremendously horrible. He not at all, but
right.
But yeah, this is just kind of like going into the background of Data. I enjoyed this rewatch for sure. It holds up, I think, and it just goes to show like what a good actor Brent Spinner is, or Spiner, or whatever. I
Spiner,
never know how to.
Yeah, even though he's playing the pretty much the same android being himself, he plays both in a way that you could distinctly tell the two apart, and you could tell that the other Datalore is evil or at least has bad intentions for the Enterprise and Data, and because he has a pal in the electric, what was that thing called, the big
crystalline entity, I think is what they the crystal Omicron Theta, I think it was a crystalline entity. Yep. A crystalline entity of great destructive power, yada yada yada, that destroyed a planet called its inhabitants. And then Rob Bowman, some of the background. No, it's all good. This is a fun one. I'm always Data was I love Data. Growing up as a kid, like he was always one of the original favorites for me. Him and Spock.
And of course Wesley Crusher figures it out. He's Johnny on the spot, and he figures. So but it makes it plays a little bit better in this episode, because he's if anything, Wesley's very observant, and they play it out. The director is the way he directed it and showed the action. He was able, you could see how he was catching on to the different signs that was going on, and he actually challenges command for what was right, and it kind of showed a little bit of a backbone to Wesley Crusher, because normally he kind of meekly bows down to whatever the authority says, and this he's a little bit of a punk this time, and rebels.
There are good episodes with Wesley Crusher. It wasn't all "shut up, Wesley," type thing. Like he did,
which that line comes in this episode.
That's true. Yeah,
he goes, "Shut up, Wesley."
But he was a foil for here or there. Just some of the more cringy ones are like where, in my opinion, just some of the ones that are a little bit like light on story, and you get a million of these. This is and I'm sure, and we haven't mentioned it yet, but you had watched the first, and I hadn't watched the first of the newer series, Strange New Worlds. But what my point with that is like sometimes, and that show's too new, but I'm sure they'll find their own way with this version of Trek, like where there's always an episode, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 of them, where they beam down to a planet, or they crash land on a planet, or something happens and they're stuck on a planet. And then there's this longer kind of one-on-ones between one character and another. And sometimes it works. And then other times, like it doesn't. It doesn't work like that. Now, there's one particular one, I think, in not too far from here, but it's season 2 or 3, like where there's like a Wesley Captain Picard one that it's okay. But it just sometimes like, it works and sometimes it doesn't. I'm glad to hear that you like this one. And with that, you ready to go on to the next one, my friend?
Sure.
Cool. Yeah. What do you think of this one? This one was a bit more Riker Troy, not action, but
it seemed very much original series type episode, very kind of sexist overtones. For what I could read on Wikipedia, it was, after watching it, it was a bit controversial as far as people disliking it, putting it pretty low on the thing, but I what the from what the original writers their original intentions was that it was supposed to be kind of a parallel to what was going on in South Africa and
Mm, interesting.
apartheid, and but they swapped race with genders, and I don't know if you can really do that and have it play very well with Riker being the man.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, I think Riker hit his stride a little bit later on, but like this one definitely was like more mediocre. I'd agree with you.
Mhm.
It wasn't as
For
nobody's talking about this 20. Actually, that's not true because we are talking about it. I was just going to make that point about something, but we are actually, in fact, talking about it 20 years later,
and
more than 20 years.
to be honest, it was very cringy, very very cringy. But
Yeah.
I cringed watched it, and I have to say I did enjoy it for the cringe factor. It was a fun episode. Yeah, it, in no way would be made today, and if it did, it would be made very differently. But it, like I said, there's something about it being 80s, and it's that story, and um
And
I don't know. It was fun
Trek,
to watch with cringe and
yeah,
all.
Trek has this thing like where they'll try to incorporate some kind of sort of historical thing once in a while, and when they do it and they nail it,
Yeah.
you don't even know it. In
Mhm,
the case being the original series, like Klingons originally, where there was a very Cold War perspective going on, and the
mhm,
Klingons were, in a way, could be argued to be the Russians, and the Federation could have been argued to be the United States, and
mhm,
some lenses of analysis, if you will. But
mhm.
but when they don't stick the landing, they don't stick the landing.
Yeah, and there's something to be said about what they're doing here.
Right.
Their seasons are what, 25 episodes. They're doing 25 self-contained stories.
Right.
So that's a tough thing to do, and for every one of them to hit the mark, it would be miraculous. So every time, so if they don't hit it out of the park on one, that's fine, because nowadays you've got, instead of 25 episodes this season, you have 10, maybe 13 episodes,
Yeah.
13 at the most. And it's usually a continuing story. So even if one of the episodes aren't quite as good, you're telling the same story over so many episodes. So you tend to overlook the the episodes that don't really go anywhere, just because you're waiting for what it's leading to.
Filler. Yeah.
So
There are
you
fillers
don't. Mhm.
every season. There's filler
Oh yeah, absolutely,
every show.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's just to go off on a wild tangent. That's one of the reasons why I I, I liked but disliked American Horror Story. It seemed like there were they told one story over 13 episodes, but there was like most of those episodes were filler, and you're trying to stretch this horror story over 13 episodes. It just doesn't work. If you had knocked it down to 5 or 6 episodes, you could, and tightly did the story, it would have been really good. But
Interesting.
they usually start off strong and then meander in the middle, and then sometimes finish strong, sometimes don't. But yeah.
Yeah, you're right about that. More, and this is very true for modern sci-fi. There is no. I don't think that I have seen a sci-fi show within the last 10 years, maybe longer. 5 years for sure. 5 years for sure. Maybe
Mhm,
6, 7 years to extend that out a little bit. But like I don't think that we have those anymore. Like those 20 episode story arcs, like at least for big popular shows,
mhm.
is
Right.
what my caveat would be. Like um
Mhm.
The Expanse, that was not 20 episodes, like that was
Yeah.
You're right. They tend to run a lot shorter. I guess I guess maybe they're. And then there's the whole debate too of like a lot of these things come out on a streaming service nowadays, and the big debate is I saw some I haven't recommended them, but like just some empty content, just entertainment that I like to follow. But I mentioned their show, but they were talking about binge versus weekly. What the trend is, and overwhelmingly everybody agreed it was episodic content, and maybe the binge model is falling off to the wayside. It was just an interesting conversation.
Yeah, because I think though doing an episodic is better in that there's the internet's full of bad people in that if a show comes out a fully bingeable, there's gonna be some jerk that watches all 13 episodes and then spoils it, runs on Twitter and spoils it. And so
Sure.
you kind of have to kind of go on lockdown until you watch, and that's no way to to watch something. And sometimes I prefer like obscure stuff, obscure movies, obscure shows, just for that very reason, so that
Sure.
there's no way to spoil it. But of course we're talking about what a 20 plus year series that
Yeah.
there's probably plenty of spoilers out there, and I'm sure I've been spoiled on parts of it that I don't even know yet, but
Maybe. Yeah, no, I agree. Episodic content, and yeah, there's not much to say about this one before we hop over to the last one.
Yeah.
Which is what were your thoughts on this one?
The 11001001.
Yeah, the binary.
uh, I liked it. I liked
Yeah, I
the
did too.
little what were they, biners? The little biner
Yeah, they were called
girls.
binars.
Binars. The whole New Orleans hologram deck. That was pretty silly. That
Minuet.
yeah, Minuet. Yes.
Yeah, that's like a classic Riker. Is the like, so everybody kind of changed positions a little bit. Like if you're comparing and contrasting it with the original series, like Kirk was the ladies' man, Riker's the ladies' man. Spock was the straight man, Data's the straight man. Like playing the straight man versus like the very cerebral, logical, Vulcan or the android who asks a silly question every other every other show, for sure. Yeah, this one was good to see again too. I had forgot about the holodeck. They always try to sneak it in somewhere.
Yeah. And I guess there were, as far as story wise, they came on to fix the holodeck because of the big mix up with it. The few episodes prior with the when Picard was, what was his detective name? Dixon Hill or something?
Dixon Hill, maybe.
Yeah.
I want to say probably.
Yep.
Oh,
yep. And there's the binars or biners. I liked when they would talk to each other in that weird sort of language. It sounded to me. Did you ever play the
2D2.
games? Yeah. Did you ever play the game Splatoon or Splatoon 2?
I have, like on the Switch. I have on occasion played it.
Yeah, when they're talking, it sounds like that.
Oh, that's good.
Sound.
That's good.
Yeah, it sounds like when the squidlings or whatever they're called. Yeah, that's we should play a match in Splatoon if you have that.
We should. I agree.
I'm actually I suck at those competitive games, but I'm actually not too bad with that one. So
yeah, I'm not bad on some of the competitive Nintendo type level games. Like whether it's, who doesn't like Mario Kart or Super Smash Brothers or that
of course,
lot of fun.
not not that because we're playing against little kids, it's we're our skills on it is just that good.
Oh, right. Yeah, we're not going online and wrecking news over here. That
Right.
is not that is not my
Yeah.
skill level at all. I would be the one being wrecked.
Mhm.
Yeah. This one was not much, maybe not much to say, but it was a good standard um,
Mhm.
classic TNG episode.
Yeah,
I
there's a
think this
little
one's a little bit.
mystery. There's a little mystery on what they were up to, and it kind of has a successful conclusion on why they wanted to uh take take the control of the ship and hijack it, and it's basically to save their planet, and
Right.
so it was a nice little story. The characters are quite interesting, and they have an interesting look. It's not just a little forehead thing. They had a whole whole ensemble and whatnot to themselves. So they were very unique looking.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were
They have
very.
that sort of classic alien look. If they were gray, they would and with they had black eyes, they'd be more of the classic alien that people report
Yeah.
seeing here out in their field.
Are you Thomas? Are you talking about the Greys?
The grays. Yes, I am. Yeah. I
Cool.
hear a
Cool.
knocking at the door. I think the men in black have showed up.
Right. Right. Yeah. Careful, they might slap you. One of them might. Anyway. Anyway,
Yes.
poor joke aside. No, this is a good. I look forward to the next. We're getting to like where we're starting to turn the corner, I think, and Riker will come along soon, hopefully. But
Mhm. Yeah,
this is a great.
I have hope for him. I have hope for him.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Mhm.
this would be, and we kind of we touched on it in our grad bag show, but I just wanted to kind of pull it up here since it's Star Trek. But we did give another recommend since it's Star Trek related for the new show. You want to just give a couple thoughts on that real quick
Yeah, it's
while we're
actually
on the topic?
the reverse. I've seen it and you haven't.
Right.
Star Trek Strange and New Worlds that premiered a couple weeks back on Paramount Plus. So you have to get another streaming service if you haven't for to watch that. But I already had it because I'm watching the Next Generation, and I thought, well, since I have it, I might as well turn it on, see what it's like. And I was pleasantly surprised. My first love for Star Trek is the original series, so that's near and dear to my heart. And so then this takes place 10 years prior to that with Christopher Pike, the original commander of the Enterprise, and his science officer Spock, and their new cadet Uhura, and the rest of the cast. And it's episodic like Next Generation so
Right.
far anyway. The past their self-contained stories, the first two episodes that are out currently, and they're nowhere near perfect, but you can't expect that for a first season show. But there is already a nice repertoire between the characters. They seem like they know each other, and I think if I'm correct, that Christopher Pike and Spock have been on Discovery. I haven't seen that series,
I believe
but I
that's
think
true. I've heard that that they're not brand new characters unto themselves, but they made a cameo here or there. So there's a little bit more
Mhm.
background. Yeah.
So yeah, and the actor, the Anson Mount, who plays Christopher Pike, he's very charismatic. I didn't recognize him at first, but I watched him on Hell on Wheels, the Western show
Okay.
from a few years back.
On
He
A&E. Yeah.
was
Yeah.
yeah, he was the star of that. I watched that and enjoyed that. The character that he plays in this show is like a 180. He played like a brooding, revengeful
Yeah.
gunslinger
Hero.
on the previous show, and this one he's sort of a wisecracking, off the cuff uh, captain of the Enterprise, and that's sort of my captain. I like the Kirk's run on the Star Trek. It's been getting used to the command of Picard, more straight laced and by the book guy, but I'm getting to enjoy and like Picard in his idiosyncratic ways.
Indeed, indeed. I'm definitely gonna have to catch up with you on this one, and see it, for sure. Give it a good fair
Yeah,
watch. And
yeah,
again,
and yeah, if you want to catch up, and then maybe, as a bonus for the end of each of these episodes, maybe go over the episode of this, since that would probably fall in line with.
absolutely, sure it would. Yeah, it's Star Trek. We're learning the Trekkie ways, of the
Yep.
Trekkie Nation. Cool,
There
cool,
you go.
awesome. Yeah, well, we're doing this a new way. We want to expand our audience, and with that, we're doing our show. Where we have 3 shows now each week. Our main content where we cover something big. This past week it was Suspiria, both the original and the remake. And then on Wednesday we have our second episode of our grab bag. You can catch that, and we'll put that down below in the link in the description, as well. And please, like, dislike, comment. Tell us what your thoughts are. I kind of come at Star Trek with the nostalgia for sure. And Thomas is a new viewer, and it's always good to hear back from our audience, our community. Hopefully,
Yep.
but with that, we'll see you next week.
See you in the stars.
See ya. Engage.